Welcome to this week's episode of the 80s Theme Show!
Yay!
Yes, coming up on this week's show, we're looking at my favourite comedy movies of the 1980s, followed by the usual Did You Know segment, followed by Fun Facts, this week, 1987. Then we will have our usual toy review. This week's subject is the hottest toys, 1987. What a wonderful year. Let's start with some of my favourite comedy movies of the 1980s. Here we have Fletch Lives, the Vacation series with Clark W. Griswold and his family. You've been Vacation, and in my opinion, one of the best movies in the 1980s and of that series. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Follow that up. Oh my God! It's only another Chevy Chase movie. How did they get in there? But in this movie with Chevy Chase, we have Bill Murray. I'll show you the connection later. You will not believe it. Caddyshack is followed by Caddyshack 2. What? Another Chevy Chase movie? What's going on? But this one, it's only starring Dan Aykroyd. Wait a minute, Bill Murray in Caddyshack 1. Dan Aykroyd in Caddyshack 2. I wonder where this is leading, eh? Who knows? It's a Bill Murray movie. One of the best Christmas movies, obviously, is Scrooged. We follow that up. Oh, how does this happen? It's Dan Aykroyd movie. People say it's one of the best movies of all time, The Blues Brothers. But in my opinion, this will get, it will be, Oh, yes. I enjoyed the movie, but it wasn't all that. Wait a minute. Going back to before, Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd. I wonder what it leads to. Could it be, in my opinion, the best movie sequels of the 1980s ever? The wonderful Ghostbusters. Yes. You got Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray, Harold Ramis, Ernie Hudson, Rick Moranis, Sigourney Weaver, Annie Potts. You don't really see much in this movie. But who can forget Slimer? But coming up in a future episode, I'll be devoting a whole episode to the Ghostbusters. So here we have Ghostbusters 1, Ghostbusters 2. Obviously we have Big because it's Tom Hanks in it. You can't have comedy movies of the 1980s without Tom Hanks. Here's another one of Tom Hanks. The Money Pit with Shelley Long. It was famous for at that time appearing in Cheers. Then we have Who Framed Roger Rabbit with Bob Hoskins and Christopher Lloyd. It was famous for his role in Taxi and a little film called Back to the Future. Ta-da! Oh God, how did that get there? How did that get Back to the Future? Can't happen again, can it? And it came! It came! Episode 2! Back to Future Part 2. This time it goes into the future. But then you have to return to the past to fix the present, to fix the future. I know! Then we have The Ghost with the Most. And we all know it. Yes, it's Beetlejuice. With Gina Davis and Adam Baldwin. Then we lead on to, yes, it's true, we've got Airplane with Leslie Nielsen. That was followed by Airplane 2, the sequel. Obviously, Naked Gun with Leslie Nielsen, which is a spin-off from the Police Squad TV series. here we have one of the best comedy movie sets you can have. The wonderful Police Academies, starring Steve Guttenberg, Michael Winslow, David Graff, Leslie Easterbrook. They done 7 movies, but coming up, like I said, future episodes, we'll be focusing on the Police Academy. And then we have, was it Professor Plum? It's Miss Scarlet with a pipe. It's Clue the movie. That's right. With the wonderful Tim Curry, who also starred in 1980s The Rocky Horror Picture Show. Let's take a moment to reminisce about, in my opinion, the greatest comedy director and writer of all time. That's right, Mel Brooks. How can you talk about comedy movies, especially in the 1980s, without Mel Brooks? Starting off the 80s with a Mel Brooks movie, he produced History of the World Part 1, going from the Stone Age to Caesar, to the Inquisition, back to the Roman times. And then, talking about Mel Brooks, on this part, yes! Spaceballs the movie! Obviously, Spaceballs didn't do any merchandise because that was where the money from the Raw movie is made. And my props are falling down at the moment. Trust that to be in the 1980s. But we all know Spaceballs with Lone Star and Bath and Dark Helmet, who was literally played by Rick Moranis from Ghostbusters fame. Also, Little Shop of Horrors. But all the Mel Brooks movies I'll be talking about coming up anyway in future episodes. But talking about the films of the 1980s, it's ain't a comedy. But I just want to give a little mention to one for the ladies, Dirty Dancing, with Johnny, and don't put baby in the corner. Coming up next is the Did You Know segment. Yes, on this part of the show, it's everyone's favourite, the Did You Knows. So let's get going. Card please, any woman. Thank you. She does that so succinctly, doesn't she? Did you know the highest grossing film of 1987 was the sequel to Beverly Hills Cop? That's right, Beverly Hills Cop 2 with Eddie Murphy. Coming up next, it's the toy review. Welcome back. Welcome to this section, the toy review section. In this toy review section, we're looking at the hottest toys of 1987. Hopefully, I've got most of the hottest toys here. Let's begin, guys and gals. Anyway, let's start here with Jem and the Holograms. Here you have Jerica, aka Jem, her arch nemesis, Pizzazz of the Misfits. Next we have Keepers, where, you know, your sister or that, Adam, and they kept like jewellery and that. But let me guess, you couldn't get there, could ya? Because they only locked it with each keeper's individual key that only your sister and that had, weren't it? And then we had, obviously, Brave Star. Yes, Brave Star was one of the hottest toys in 1987. Here you have Tex Hex, and over here you have him himself. Brave Star, eyes of the hawk, speed of the puma. Yes, obviously you got mass crusaders working overtime, fighting crime. Yes, we have Thunderhawk and we've got Rhino. Next we have G.I. Joes. I know what you're thinking, what is that? Yes, he was one of the hottest toys in 1987 to have. It's Little Alf, but that's a candy container. But he wasn't hot. This was the Hot Alf of 1987 Please welcome Alf. Say hello, Alf. Yeah. Yeah, you're going down. Right. As you've been watching this segment, I guess most of you cannot avoid what are all these toys here. In 1987, Thundercats released Series 3. What? Series 3? Yeah, Series 3 of the Thundercat figures was hot in 1987. They released 8 new figures, and hopefully I have the whole set. As you can see here, I've got the Stinger, followed by the Lost Thundercats from Thundercats Home the Movie. We have Linkso, Chimera, Bengali. Then we have Captain Shayna, followed by Mongol, with his scythe. Then we have, I messed up a bit there, guys, but never mind. Like I said, that's Captain Shiner, right? Yes, I know, it's Captain Shiner. It's Captain Cracker. I got confused. Then, with them, you have the Hunter. Safari Joe. Lost his gun. Then you have one of my most favourite figures of the toy line. And this is the Driller. First appeared in the episode Spitting Image, where he kidnaps Panther to take him to Mumwa's tomb. And on this Driller, everything's original. The action still works, look at that. And he, as you can see, if you just look through there, it looks like he's actually drilling through the surface. Lucky for the Driller, and not the Stinger, he sits well. But we don't want to mess up the Stinger, do we? Because they are two of the most sought after Thundercats. But then, the last but not least, you have Jagger the Wise. Yes, Jagger. And that concludes this part of Toy Review. And here is this week's fun fact. Card please, handy woman. Thank you. Alf has to read it first. Is that fun fact? Did you know? The Simpsons started as an animated show this year on the Tracy Ullman Show. You remember Tracy Ullman from Three of a Kind? Also, Tracy Ullman was the original voice of Marge Simpson. Well, that concludes another week's show of the 80s team. Innit, Alf? Yes. Join me next week for another exciting edition. And next week we'll be having competition to win an original Batman sealed trading card packet. You want to win that, don't you, Alf? He wants to win it. He'll be there. I'll be there. Hopefully see you there.